Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
So tonight we are going to continue where we left off, where we're going to review Terrifier 2 that was released in 2022.
That one, yeah.
So that was released just last year.
Yeah, we saw the Terrifier. We reviewed the Terrifier 1 last time. That was done, 2018, was it?
2016.
2016, yeah. A long time waiting for it to come out, but we think there's a sequel on the go because the end of this movie, well, I won't say anything,
The third movie,
indicates there's something going on.
Yeah, so this one adds a little bit of more explanation of why he somehow gets resurrected. Well, no, actually, there's no explanation of how he got resurrected.
It doesn't explain it, but you start to think, ooh, he might be an immortal or a demon or something or other. Yeah, because things happen to him, and even Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees would have had trouble coming back from these things, and he still kept on going like the Energizer Bunny, didn't he?
Well, Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers and Freddy, they all came back.
Freddy was a dream. Freddy was a dream, more so, a spirit, an evil spirit, but the other guys are actually physical guys.
Yeah. But they still somehow managed to get resurrected and cause a little harm to the people that they as they go along.
Yeah, so
this one adds a little bit more a supernatural deal.
I think he's either a demon or something like that, because there's just something in it, and I'm not going to say because Sarah's going to tell you the story in a minute.
I think he may be human, but somehow
or was human at some stage.
Was human at some stage, but seeing as we're at the I like to think in the third movie when it comes out, it will explain, give us
a bit more of a backstory. Maybe,
or hopefully. Unless this is one of those types of movies that's going to go on and on, and
I just won't tell you.
Until it will give you 5 different explanations of how this guy is coming, this Art the Clown is operating.
This is why I don't like clowns. No.
But I don't really care at this point because I think it's an interesting take on bringing back new supernatural, unexplained killers who don't need a motive for their killings. They just do it without.
It's the meaning of life. Or death.
Or death in this case. So anyway, it's done by the same director as before and same writer too.
Are you doing my bit?
Sorry?
Michael, you can do your bit now. Oh, thank you. Right. Okay, here we go. Sarah's correct. Damien Leone, Leone, is a producer, director, and he wrote the script, or story script.
I guess being the director, he didn't want to hand it over to anyone else. So
it gives you more creative control if you're holding all the strings.
Yeah.
You know what you want. You've written the story, and you're directing the bloody thing. Says, I want it done this way, and no one's going to challenge you. So there you go. Maybe the actors mightn't like it, but it's so tough. He's being paid. Now, here we fellow producers though. You had Phil Falcone. I think he did the first one too. I think can't remember. George Stuber, Michael Levy, Stephen Della Sala, or Sala might be just a separate name, and Jason Levy. There you go. Now, starring the players, if you will. Okay, right. Just go from my paper.
Yeah.
I print stuff off so I don't remember it.
Unlike the other movie, there is a bigger casting in
there's more people involved. I won't go through everyone. I won't go through the car park attendant and everybody else.
But I will mention a bit of a brief cameo in this one that has Felissa Rose, who is best known for her iconic character from Sleepaway Camp. So it's nice to see her back, but I was hoping that she would kind of make a bigger role in this one, but maybe it's just nice to see you there in this project.
Well.
So anyway, moving on.
Can I go on?
Good, yeah.
Thank you kindly. Okay, Lauren Lavera plays Sienna Shaw. Whoever she is. Jonathan's old sister. Whatever. Elliot Fulham plays Jonathan Shaw. Okay. Sarah Voight. I wonder if she's related to John Voight.
Don't know.
Plays Barbara Shaw, the mother of Sienna and Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Emily McLean plays a little pale girl. Now, I mentioned her because she had a good role in this. Not a big speaking part.
Well, then again, so is Art the Clown.
David Howard Thornton reprises his role as Art the Clown.
Welcome back, David boy.
Look, I won't go through all the other people here because they're just bits and pieces.
Yeah, they're pretty much, like Mike would call them, cannon fodder.
Not cannon fodder, but it's fillers. I mean, you can't just have nothing. You got to have a mother. You got to go a storekeeper. You got to have a nurse. Yeah, but you mentioned that lady who was out of what was her name again? Something Rose. Phyllis Rose. Yeah, she plays
a teacher or
Mrs. Principal.
Principal
that was a teacher or something like that at the school, and she's she was really good when she was a kid in that sleepaway camp. I think we reviewed it a couple of years ago, didn't we?
Yeah, she's actually been doing a lot of independent roles lately, mostly the sort of independent stuff at the moment. I don't begrudge her if she wants to do that sort of thing, but she's mostly remembered for that particular role the most and that kind of has put her name on in certain acting communities more than ever when you think about it. Yeah. And I kind of think that it was great that she continues to work hard as an actress along the way.
Look, the point is, if you can't get major roles, you might as well get minor roles and just do it. Because sometimes we got a friend or two, won't mention names. They're not young, not teenage or anything, and some of them middle age, and they're still, I wouldn't say struggling to get work, but they're getting work, and sometimes you just got to be the right place, right time, and someone says, "You're the person we're looking for this role. Come and try out." And it does happen. A friend of ours, won't mention, has just been given 5 roles in 5 productions over the next, say, 6, 12, 8 months. 8 till 12 months. I can't remember how long it is, but she's been given about 5 roles. Now, they might not be all major roles, but here's 5 roles. Just come up, whack. Like a month or two before, she didn't have any jobs at all. So,
yes, well, a lot of actors I've spoke to often say that they get many roles, and usually on the same year, depending, and maybe sometimes they're not very long stuff.
A little bit, but the point still remains is the more you get out there...
The more you're out there, the more chances you get noticed.
Yeah, exactly right. So, hey, you do really good. Hey, next time we've got a movie, we'll give you a call. Da-da.
Yeah. Anyway.
Now, getting back to...
Ooh, I like to see what this...
Now, I think the first movie was made for about 35,000 or something or other. Yeah. And only made about 400 at the box office.
Okay, how much does this one make?
Now, wait a minute. But I think it had I don't think it was released in all the major cinemas. It might have been opened in a lot of cinemas. It might be the art housey type and other things, and maybe had a small run and went straight to home media and stuff. But this one here, they spent a bit more money on it. a lot. The other one was 35,000. This was 250,000.
Well,
now it wasn't a big mega dollar budget, but they got good value for money.
Agreed.
But whereas the first movie only made about 400,000 at the box office, this made about 15 mil. And what's that tell you? I think people have got the idea that this is a good franchise.
Yeah, someone was commenting to me on Facebook about how they remarked about how they said that they compared this movie to the new Saw movie that just came out just only a couple of weeks ago. And they both said that these don't compare to the original.
Yeah, actually, I must admit, this movie does not compare to the original Terrifier. I think it's better. Now, no, don't say better in that one way and not that way, but I'll explain it. This got a bit more action in it. For those who love the blood and gore and everything, there's a lot more in this movie. So they've pulled out all stops to make it a better movie than the first movie. So, and that's to me the way a sequel should be. Don't say same old, we're strained for ideas. Take it to the next level. And they've done that, I think.
Yeah.
And so I think they've achieved it. What do you think?
I agree, because
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
one, in the last one, you would think he was just another slasher with a particular origin to why he does this. But then you see this movie, and it kind of not really fill in the blanks, but it does give you a bit of more of a sense of that he's not your average normal serial killer that you should mess with.
And considering in the end of the first movie, he was shot. He shot himself through the head, and then he woke up in a body bag.
Yep.
And killed the mortician or something or other. So, and all of a sudden, that was the end of the first movie.
Right.
You start thinking, oh, was it a fake? I'm not going to say anything about the second movie. It's going to come out in the story. So I think you might as well start the tell, hey?
Yeah, might as well tell and show and tell, or not really show.
Once upon a time, there was a clown.
So we sort of start off where we left off in the movie, where we see the coroner who was badly, murdered by by Art the Clown, and after this, Art disappears and he goes to a laundromat. I think it's where he cleans his clothes. There we see a little girl that resembles him in a sort of creepy sense.
Black and white clown harlequin type outfit, wasn't it?
Yeah. And he starts playing with her, and he sees a man who's also at the laundromat, stuff like that.
He could have been a guard or waiting for his washing or something. I don't know what he was.
It is probably one of those 24-hour laundromats.
And he wakes up, sees Art. Art actually took all his clothes off and was sitting there naked.
Yeah.
That would bat. You would bat an eyelid. I'm sure the average would say, okay, double take time.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
But he sees him playing with nobody's there.
Yeah. And then we see Art getting his duds, gets dressed, and then as he's walking out the door, we see that same man.
He got a piece of wood or something, or a hanger through his head or something.
Yeah. Then we cross over to this is 1 year later, I imagine.
I think so. I can't remember.
Yeah, because in the last movie, it was 1 year later, and in this one, it does mention in this movie that this was sort of the anniversary to, because it's Halloween again.
It was, because it was,
And this girl, Sienna, you said?
Sienna,
is making a costume. She's really put a lot of heart into this costume.
Yeah, it was like a
Xena warrior princess type
with
outfit.
Angel wings.
Yeah.
But she made them like a bit more gothic-y type wings.
Yeah, it looks rather cool, and she's looking forward to doing this sort of thing. And she's not too thrilled about her younger brother Jonathan, who's planning on dressing up like Art the Clown. And he also has this scrapbook that his dad owned with newspaper clippings from the murders.
Well, we'll go back here. Their father had passed away.
Yes.
And the kids kept this book. His dad had these newspaper clippings, but also some sketches, was it?
Yeah.
His dad has been getting visions or imagining stuff, and everyone thought he was a bit crazy.
Yeah.
But he wasn't.
He kind of developed, I think...
Second sight, maybe, or something.
Aside from the second sight. He also developed a tumour in his brain, and I guess it killed him.
But his mother thought he was just crazy and everything else, and the loon and everything in the end. But
of course, Sienna thinks her brother is going to head down in a Jeffrey Voorhees kind of way with his obsession with this with the Art Clown, obviously. But it doesn't seem like it's heading in that direction. Anyway, later on, she hangs out with her... later that evening, she's watching television, and she nods off, and as she's sleeping, she dreams of Art the Clown and some weird stuff. And it looks like something out of a Nightmare on Elm Street type of dream, because it's very long and it's got very detailed and stuff like that. And when she's during her sleep, she somehow these wings she created are catching fire.
No, she had some candles there on a dresser, and she put them out before she went to sleep or went to bed.
Yes.
And then when she woke up, they were actually relit and set fire to her wings.
Yeah.
And they weren't actually underneath the wings. So obviously something's amiss here.
Yeah. Anyway, her mother goes into her room and gets the fire extinguisher and
Mummy's not pleased.
Yeah, she takes her daughter aside and gives her a severe 1 hour of saying, "Oh, how reckless are you? How stupid are you?
Blah, blah,
you
blah.
blah blah blah. How could you just leave these candles in?"
And she
no,
couldn't really
and
explain the
blah
fact
blah
that
blah.
Mum wouldn't want to
And
listen anyway.
it's amazing she didn't grounded her for over Halloween because she plans on going to this Halloween party and stuff like that and spend time with her friends. Anyway, she does go on a bit in this scene, throughout this movie. Anyway, they soon are at school, and she talks about how she had this weird dream with her friends, and of course they think that you must have just just had the fire before you had the dream and stuff like that, and that's probably why you had this nightmare and stuff like that. But it doesn't make sense because she had the dream first before the fire,
Exactly.
And she also, in the dream, she also saw this dagger that her late father, gave to her before he died.
Interesting, hey.
And it sort of plays a significant sort of piece in this movie.
It does, later on.
Anyway, later on, Jonathan and his pals they're looking at a dead possum, and
possum.
And this is where the principal tells them that to get a life and go to class. Later on, Jonathan also spots the possum with Art the clown and the little girl
in the corridor inside the school.
Yeah, and then as they're playing, they throw it at Jonathan, and then one of the teachers approaches him and thinks that he was
playing with
dead possum's remains, and he's suspended. I think Jonathan, at this point because of what he did, obviously, or
what they thought. They didn't believe. Who's going to believe a kid?
Yeah. Sienna goes to one of those costume stores and buys a cheaper, wing set, and as she's looking at them, she actually sees Art the clown there.
He's at the costume shop. I wonder where he got his stuff.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, I think he's stalking her, actually.
Yeah, and throughout this movie, I keep thinking, this time around in this movie, it seems like he's stalking them for an intentional reason.
Can I interject you? I've got a funny feeling.
Yes.
That her dad was aware of Art the Clown, and Art the Clown wanted Dad out of the way. Of course, Dad knew his secret, maybe. You see? I'm not saying Art the Clown gave him the tumour, but I think maybe there's a link here somehow, but it hasn't come out yet.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a chain. I think that maybe, who knows, I mean, what goes on in the story.
Know. Yeah.
So, they may have been in the same mental institute, considering that Art has all these scalpels, and
I think he stole them.
I think he may have witnessed Art stealing these at the mental institute, and then that whole thing started clicking in and stuff like that. Maybe, I'm not sure. I mean,
I don't know.
Because considering we still don't know Art's origin story as of yet.
There's no backstory in old Art. Actually, maybe that's a good thing. We don't. Do you really want to know?
But I think that according to them, the little girl we see in this movie, I think she is I think one of his first victims in a theme park of sorts.
Yeah, and her spirit.
It could be her. And
I'll say it's her spirit sort of trapped somewhere or other. Yeah, he's converted her to a mini-me.
Yeah. Or something. Anyway, so Sienna tries to tell her friends again about what she's seen, and thinks and recognizes the clown because she's seen him in her dreams. But it's no surprise here because everyone seems to know about him because it's been 1 year later since the murders. And it's in the newspapers and stuff like that. So there's for Sienna's friends, this is it's nothing new under the sun, obviously. So they think that she's just being paranoid because the guy's dead. And I should mention that there was mention on the news that about the girl from the previous movie. What's her name?
Vicky.
Vicky. She gets caught by the police, and she got turned into the institute when she killed that reporter in the first movie.
Yes.
And it was mentioned in there. So anyway, Sienna decides to chuck hell to the wind and decide to get herself dressed up for the Halloween party, and she looks really well decked up and stuff like that.
Really good.
She looks like exactly what Mike has described her.
Hubba.
She looks like a Xenia warrior princess
With wings.
With wings.
Yeah.
And I like the wall makeup. I mean, the wall paint she has on her face.
She puts a bit of paint. Yeah,
she also trims her hair back to make it look like she's got.
No, she looked real. No, whoever designed it, and she obviously designed being an actor, but whoever designed that image for it, hey, it really worked.
I agree. She then presents the costume to her mum, and she says it's very revealing, and she says that her dad would have loved it and stuff like that. I think he was probably into Halloween stuff. Maybe he was also into Halloween too. Anyway, so she goes off to this Halloween party, but meanwhile, while this is all happening, her friend, I'm not sure which one it was, is doing the candy rounds at her house, and there
Brooke,
and she kind of meets Art the Clown, but she doesn't give him candy. Something about the fact aren't you too old for trick or treat? Yeah.
Well, you still want candy.
Well, there's a bit of.
I like candy.
I think some parts of America they don't. There's an age gap here.
Young teenage, mid-teenage, there must be a cut-off there somewhere.
Yeah, there's a cut-off point. Unless you're trick-or-treating with your children, that's
but
sort of
the
okay.
adults don't get lollies. The kiddies do. They're only chaperoning. Actually, getting back to the thing, Jonathan and Sienna show their mother the scrapbook.
They showed the scrapbook to her.
And that was filled full of clippings, like we said before, right?
Yeah.
And there was a picture of that little pale girl, okay? And there was a clipping in there. Her name was Emily Crane, the daughter of of circus performers, whose body was discovered in a makeup trailer. So you might have worked in the circus at some stage.
Maybe.
Don't know.
Anyway, so back to the story. Jonathan's mother is really angry at her son at the moment because she says that pretty much that he is thanks to him being suspended, she thinks he's to blame for his misbehavior, obviously.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, she tells him to go to his room and stuff like that, and she tears up that very notebook that his dad had.
Yeah, mother's.
Yeah, and he actually runs out, obviously, and there he actually kind of meets Art the Clown, and he nearly gets chased down by him, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, I should mention Brooke. She gets killed by Art the Clown, and her mother discovers her dead remains. In fact,
or half dead
remains.
All still wiggling a bit.
Yeah. And she kind of coughs up. And then we see her mother's head. That's now been converted into a lolly dispenser.
A candy receptacle. Said to give the kids at the front door.
Yeah.
Some kids come to the front door. Art hands out the lollies and said, "Hey, what a cool
costume!
Cool
yeah.
costume."
What's the sticky stuff?
And what's the sticky stuff on the lollies? This is it's just fake blood.
Yeah.
He sort of smiles a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sienna is at her friend's party, and she gets drugged up by her friend.
Brooke spikes the rings.
Yeah.
With MDMA, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I'm out of touch of this sort of stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, it kind of gets her a little bit loopy here and there, but then
very loose.
Yeah. Also, her mother rings up, telling her about her car being smothered in shaving cream, calling and written in the words written "bitch" on it, and she thinks her son is mentally gone over the deep end, obviously, and thinks her daughter was right at the beginning about her son going to be very loopy.
Yeah.
Of course, At this point, I think Sienna's realizing that her brother is not as loopy or crazy. I mean, he's probably just wondering why his father would have a scrapbook of this stuff.
I think he knew how to take care of Art.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
That's
anyway.
why he's chasing him and everything.
Yeah.
Following his actions and whatever.
Yeah. And while her mother is cleaning up the shaving cream, she eventually gets shot by the clown who's still inside the car itself, and shoots her in the head, I think, or whatever. And then later on, Jonathan appears back at the house, and he finds his mother, who's in the dining room, and Art is serving her some potato mash or whatever they call it, and of course Jonathan tries to run away. He goes upstairs, the usual stuff you expect in a slasher, instead of running out the door like usual.
Why run upstairs? Lord,
beats the heck out of me. But then eventually, I think Jonathan does get caught up by this Art the Clown, and he injects him with a needle of sorts. I often thought he was going to kill him, but no. I mean, anyway, so as they get into a van, they have this black van, I think, this time around in this movie, obviously.
Yeah, I think it's a black van, yeah. Rings a bell, yeah.
And the little girl uses her Sienna's brother's voice to get Sienna to come to this abandoned theme park, to collect Jonathan.
Yeah.
So her and her friend's boyfriend, I think it was, they head to this park, and of course her friend keeps saying he must be joking, yada yada yada. But Sienna defends her brother, saying that there's no way that he would come up with something this weird, stuff like that.
Yep.
Because it's obviously she knows her brother a little bit more better than her friends and her mother, obviously. Anyway, she heads to the park, and there, while she goes pursuing her brother, her friend and her boyfriend, they get killed by Art the Clown and his offsider, obviously.
Mini-me.
Yes.
Yep.
While Sienna's she goes through this haunted maze called the Terrifier. That's what it's called.
That's what, yeah.
That's probably where the name came from, obviously.
Possibly.
Or not really.
Or maybe got the idea, hell, let's bung it on there, Really good.
Anyway, I thought, so she goes through this haunted maze. It's activated, so all these creepy things are popping out at you.
Really groovy.
I gotta admit, it would be so cool if they had that type of maze in somewhere. Anyway, as she's wandering through there, her friend, she discovers her friend's dead body that's inside a dirty toilet bathroom, I think it was. I think it's part of the maze.
Part of the maze, yeah.
And she then runs into Art the Clown, and she fights him a little bit here and there, and she does discover Jonathan, who's still alive. Another bit of a weird thing when you think about it, because
he hadn't got around to killing him just yet. He got one there for a reason. We don't know why.
I should mention, guys, that Art has stolen her this special dagger sword thing.
Her dad's dagger thing, yeah.
That he gave to Sienna, obviously. Anyway, soon enough, as they're fighting, they kind of try to kill him several times.
They killed him several times. This is where I was talking about this could be supernatural being, and every time they killed him, he resurrected.
Yeah. Eventually, he gets the upper hand and stabs Sienna in the I think in the lower
abdomen or something, right? And then he throws it into a big water torture cell with water in it.
Yeah, this part is where it becomes Nightmare on Elm Street type, where she kind of falls into this pit that allows her to fall into a water torture thingy-wing. And as she's slowly dying, her brother is about to be eaten by Art the Clown.
Yeah, Art's a bit of a cannibal. He's not a vegan.
Yes, no doubt. Anyway, somehow Jonathan was able to call out to his sister, and somehow this causes the sword to activate, and
it brings her back to life.
Yeah, and she somehow awakens from her her nightly slumber, and she picks up the dagger. The dagger was left by Art the Clown.
He didn't think she'd need it because she was dead.
Yeah,
maybe.
And as he's trying to devour her brother, he doesn't eat his face like the other victim. He actually is dining on his leg. His leg is kind
Yummy.
of, I guess, his ankle is broken, I guess, if that's the word.
That's right, yeah.
Anyway, soon enough, Sienna appears and they have a bit of a fight, and soon enough, she starts chomping at his head.
And she cuts his head off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad.
She then, the body falls to the ground and she embraces her brother.
And the head rolls along a bit.
And then the weird little girl, Mini-Me, Art, whatever, approaches Art's body and picks up his head, cradling
walks
it.
off out into the shadows somewhere with it.
Yeah. The two kids, two siblings, sit together and cry and hug each other. Then we cross to, I guess...
the nut house.
The nut house
the
where
asylum where
Vicky is
Vicky
staying, and two of the orderly guys are just
It's a night shift. I think there's a guy at the front desk and one of the nurses.
Yeah, both of them are talking about how, about her and a bit about what's
it's a bit weird,
stuff like that. And we do see inside her cell where she's puking up and
she's dribbling blood out of her lower regions.
Yeah, she then writes on the wall using the blood that's coming out of her lower regions and writes, Vicky loves art. And
She's
then
an artist.
Yeah.
No? Oh, no.
And then the female orderly goes to Vicky's room and she sees Vicky on the floor cradling the head of Art the Clown.
So we think, because she had a fat tummy before,
yes,
she's given
birth
to Art's head. Now, I don't know about you girls, but that looks a bit on the big side, and that would hurt like blazes coming out,
Yeah. Then we fade out, and then the credits continued to roll, obviously.
And did you hear laughing? Was he laughing? Wasn't she laughing?
Yes, Vicky was laughing.
Like a nutcase? And she is a nutcase, obviously.
Considering she killed a reporter, and she's lost her racket, and I keep wondering...
Lost the marbles.
And I keep wondering in this one, the third movie, will it finally give us the final details or the final pieces of the puzzle to tell us where he came from, his origin? I'm hoping that we will find out his backstory soon, because I feel like we are in need of that particular piece to fill in the gaps. I feel like we've entered... The first movie was pretty much like an ordinary slasher, and now in this one it seems like a slasher, supernatural horror movie when you think about it. Wouldn't you say, Mike?
Yeah. Well, you had the slasher bit and had a bit of supernatural thrown in the front, being whatever he is. A little like in it. The clown guy was a demon or something or other, or an alien. Yeah, we also they think he came down in a meteor, but he could have been a demon. We don't know what he is.
Yeah. So that's the sequel to, Terrifier 2, obviously.
I think it was better.
I thought it was even cool.
For the gore and the killings and all the other good bits.
Yeah, I feel the same way about it. It seems like a worthy Halloween movie. Just so you guys know,
it's a worthy sequel.
Yeah. Just so you guys know, we're getting closer and closer to Halloween itself. So very soon we will be knocking off a few more Halloween movies for all of you guys. Hopefully, I'll find a few more for you guys. Let's discuss this movie, The Reception. Is there a reception we should talk about?
I'm having a look now as we speak. Mm-hmm. Aha.
Even though I don't like hearing the reception, most of the time I like my own opinion.
The reception's good because sometimes we have sometimes they're on the same page as us, and sometimes they're about 180 degrees out. Now, okay, we got a box office. Critical response. Here we are.
This will be interesting.
How's this one? Rotten Tomatoes. One of my favourites. They show up a lot. 85%.
Okay.
Based on 74 reviews. Not 7 reviews, 74.
Cool.
That's not too bad.
They're all positive.
And it says the same thing I did. The general consensus is Terrifier 2 outdoes the original in every way. I told you, they made it better than the first, and that's the way a sequel should be. Keeps the energy going, so it's opening the door for, you guessed it, Terrifier 3, which should make more money. Which makes it bad news for the squeamish, and that's what I said too, because there's a bit more blood and stuff in it. Yeah.
Well, that's their problem.
Yeah, I like it. I had to look away. That's how good it was. Because I don't risk it, because I watched Hellraiser one night after work. I came home late and had some food and I was eating it, and I was watching Hellraiser, when the blood and the skin and whatever, and I threw up. So I shouldn't have been eating at the time. So I went to see really bloodthirsty stuff. Even though I like it, I turn my head so I don't see too much of it.
Yeah, right.
I just imagine the bit, so I'll put it in black and white and stuff. Metacritic gave a weighted average of 59 out of 100. This isn't bad for Metacritic. They're not good, usually as good as Rotten Tomatoes anyway. Now, Jeffrey Anderson from Common Sense Media described the characters as memorable, particularly Sienna, due to her character development. He also states that human life starts to matter more here than it did in the first film. That's not too bad. Matt Donato of IGN, while stating the film has underdeveloped subplots and themes, we said about, obviously art and everything, noted it was an improvement of the original film and highlighted the performance of Lavera, writing that she rules as Sienna in her angel-winged fantasy armor. As a final girl fighting for family, facing her demons, and screaming bloody war cries at Art's mocking face. Yeah, and that's the feeling of and that's what it's all about. That's the way I feel. These guys are on the same page as me for a change. And this is what they're saying. That's what I said. It's a seriously good sequel. It's taken the first movie and added to it, not saying, let's try saying crap again and just rebox it. No, they've actually made it better.
The one thing I like about this movie is the supernatural approach to this. Where other movies try to focus on realistic, modern reality stuff. This one takes a dive into the supernatural fantasy approach to a movie, where it doesn't have to be real, but it does seem to dive into the fantasy part, to the imagination. Something we all kind of miss in some horror movies, where we keep on thinking, we need to focus on the modern, we have to make it look realistic, we have to focus on stuff like that. What movies miss most is that particular element where people can sort of imagine this stuff could really happen. Even if it's fantasy, it's still a great tool to use.
Yeah,
if the story feels real enough, you're getting your audience attention.
If it feels real, you drag your audience in.
Like with Sienna, you could feel that she's destined for something greater than herself.
I think she's going to be greater as an actress too. She's quite good. Yeah,
she'll probably become even bigger than. Actually, I can't think of anyone who's bigger in slashes at the moment who are the final girls, because most of the ones I can think of are the ones like Jamie Lee Curtis and the girl who plays Sydney,
sort of
stuff like that, and they've come and gone, and they've come and gone and fought and made a good impression. But with Sienna's character, Sienna, she has taken it to a new level of she's like the girl from what's her name? Let me see. I'm thinking. She's like Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street, where she fights the villain and uses her imaginations against the villain. And while most of the time she doesn't necessarily win most of the time, but she somehow defeats him eventually.
Now, I don't normally do accolades. Okay. Fangoria Chainsaw Awards, May 2023.
Ooh.
There's 4 categories here.
Okay.
And they won the 4 categories.
Hooray!
Best Kill, 1. Best Limited Release Movie, 1. Best Makeup Effects, 1.
1.
The Editor's Eyeball Award, whatever that hell it is, 1. So...
Wow, that is impressive.
That's saying, wow. So it's really impressed some people here and there. So
now, I'm glad that it's impressed the Fangoria.
Yeah, Chainsaw Awards.
Chainsaw Awards.
But here we go.
Because when you think about movies like this, the independent ones, they either get nominated or official selection, but sometimes they go under flat ears or flat notice, or just go for the other one.
Yeah, and you might get a nomination, but they got 4 awards here.
This one is impressive, and I'm glad they see that the director and writer and I think the director also works on some of the special effects makeup for this movie too.
Now, here we
so
go.
It's nice that he's got he's on the right track with this movie. So go on, Mike.
Now here we go. Are we ready?
Ready.
Okay. All right. Okay. In 2019, they started working on Terrifier 3.
Got it.
Okay. Now there's a problem. They're actually going to build up a bit more of Art's background and stuff, all the good stuff. But the storyline is getting so big, they might have to break it into Terrifier 3 and Terrifier 4. They've also their Terrifier 3 has got a life of its own at the moment. It's like a juggernaut. So we might actually get 2 movies in the process.
Well,
and they might release them close
as long
together.
as they're going to be released on Halloween and reappear on Halloween, I'll be sitting happily.
But here,
I'll be enjoying it.
Here, and he said Leone said in October last year. He said that an entire treatment for the 3rd film, he had that, but it was getting so big it could potentially be split into part 4 because he didn't want to make a 2-hour and 20-minute movie.
Got it.
So it's getting too big. So 2 movies about an hour and a half long, great. But I think really we're in for a good ride here. If it follows the same power, it's
more power to you.
Good, better, best. The best is yet to come.
Sweet.
And I think really he's nailed it.
Yeah.
So that's my feelings. And before you say anything, I'm going to give it 10.
Yes. I'm going to give this movie a 10 too.
For everything, because it's growing.
It's developing an audience, and it's developing its own
good
universe.
Yeah, and it's not copying too much of anything else. It's creating its own ideas and imagery.
Yeah.
And that's really hard when everything else has been done before.
Yeah.
He's still finding a way to make it new.
Yeah.
And so it's great.
It's nice that this movie has a balancing act.
Yeah, it's
great.
Great.
As I've said in the past, guys, we've previously reviewed a lot of other independent ones like the LA Slasher. It didn't have the right balancing act in that movie. Horror and comedy didn't have the right texture. But this one seems to have a good balancing act, and I hope that the directorship will continue be with this guy, obviously.
Damien, he's
because he seems to know where he wants to take.
He wrote the story as well, so he knew what he wanted.
Yeah,
and he made it
so
happen.
he knows the direction his story wants to go. So it's a good that he's in the director and writer's seat in this movie. So I don't think I could stand it if someone else took over either one of those roles.
Yeah, the problem, it might lose some of its dynamics, and that's why you don't want to do that. When you've got something going good, don't try to reinvent the wheel, but just try to make it better. Yeah. And that's what he's doing at the moment, which is great. Now, eBay. Yes, it's for sale. Silly. Amazon, it's for rent. And you can buy it, but I think you can't. I don't think you can buy a hard copy. You can buy a downloadable copy. So if it's there, it should be on available on other sites, streaming services maybe. wherever, so you might be able to find it. So, but it's
Yeah.
around. You'll get it if you want it.
Yeah.
But no, I'm definitely a 10. Now, I don't normally give it 10, but I can't find anything wrong with it.
Me neither. That's what I think about this, guys.
And it's got all it, as they say in some of these home shows programs my wife watches. The people say, "Oh, it ticks all the right boxes." Well, in this case, this movie does tick all the right boxes. So,
yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. There's no.
I don't think it's boring.
There's nothing.
There's
There's
slow
no
bits in
boring
it.
bits. It's all got plenty of mystery, a lot of suspense, and
Blood and guts,
blood
gore,
and guts,
all the
gore,
good bits,
and a bit of teeny jump scares, some parts. But other than that, there's some
enough jump scares, but you can't just have a jump scare and then a quiet bit of jump scare. You actually need a story as well. So, and it's got a story. A lot of people forget the story. Like you can't survive. A movie can't run on jump scares alone. You need a good story behind it. This has a good story behind it, and it's got enough jump scares.
Yeah.
It's got the killings. It's got the gore. It's got believable characters. Yeah.
yeah,
Can't fault
nothing wrong with it, guys.
Yep.
So
Done. I have no more to say.
yes.
Well, I can get.
Well, I have to, but that's about it. So anyway, you know where to get it, right, Mike?
Yep, we've
And-
said that already. eBay and Amazon have got you if you're looking there. But if they've got it, other places should have it.
Yes. So let us know in the comments what you guys think of this movie.
Actually, I'd like them to see. Have a watch of Terrifier 1, and then watch Terrifier 2, and you can see how it's developed from the first movie in the second movie, and hopefully the third movie is going to be better. Right? Good, better, best. And I think the best is yet to come.
Yeah. I hope it will be develop. It's an interesting franchise as we go along because I think
I
think we need more new franchises like this.
We need fresh blood in the industry, literally.
Yes, new flesh and blood.
Yeah, and
Because if we keep using the same, same old characters over and over, it gets boring. But if it's a new, fresh face, new, fresh stories, then we have a new developing an audience and interest.
Here's a good analogy. Okay, remember the first Psycho movie? Anthony Perkins, done by Hitchcock, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, 20 years later, what are you doing? What?
I'm listening.
Oh, all right. Look, you're looking weird at me. Okay. 20 years later, they did the first sequel to it, and Hitchcock didn't produce or direct it. I think it's dead by then. But what happened was they carried it on in the same feeling, had the same character in it. He got out of the nut house and went back home, but a different sort of storyline. People were trying to send him crazy again and put him back in the nut house.
True.
And then after that movie is finished, along comes the third movie. And it's a good continuation of the sequel. So the third sequel is as good as, if not a little bit better, than the second sequel.
Yeah.
And then the fourth one was when they burned the building down, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the 4 movies in the franchise, worked. Everything had a link, and they didn't go back over old stuff. Oh, let's revamp this and let's dust it off and churn it out again. They didn't. They carried the storyline onwards, and that's what they're doing here, which is great. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Love it.
Anyway, so that's Terrifier 2. So be sure to check it out and let us know in the comments, like usual, what you think of both the first one and the second one, and would you like to see a third and the fourth movie, have the same feeling to it?
Oh, I hope so.
So
I hope I throw up into a paper bag while I'm watching it. Or even a plastic bag might be better, but
yes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode, everyone. And as always, be sure to let us know if there's any other movies you wish us to review in the part. You know.
Really good to get some of you guys want. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I hope you guys are looking forward to Halloween. We only have a few more days left to Halloween. So I hope you guys may have a good October. I know that we will be busy. We have a lot of things on the agenda for our at the moment. So we'll let you guys know how we go with that.
Exactly.
So this is Sarah Stephenson
And Marvel.
saying see you guys around on Boys and Ghouls Film Review. Bye for now.
Bye.